morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today we've got news of a new Pokemon set that's coming. There's been a new trademark that's gone and been filed over in Japan, and I don't think we need to try too hard to figure out what is meant by Storm Emeralda. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It sounds an awful lot like a Rayquaza set now, doesn't it? Why, yes. Yes, it does. Now, just a quick reminder here, as we always do when we do these kind of videos. No, this is not an actual announcement of a new set. No, this is not guaranteed to be a new set. Yes, it absolutely could be something else. However, it has been filed in Japan in the way that trademarks generally are. And I'm going to remind you again, I work with people like the lovely Immunity, Matthew Arrive, the lovely Primal Lugia over at Poker Guardian, etc. And that our hit rates on these have been, frankly, excellent. Let's not forget that we had trademarks for Mega Symphonia and Mega Brave back in January. And then what was revealed this weekend? Mega Symphonia and Mega Brave. So, yeah. We're pretty good at this. We're pretty good at figuring out when these are, in fact, new sets, and when they are something else we don't need to worry about. There were some trademarks came down the other day that looked interesting, but they didn't look like new Pokemon TCG sets, so we didn't cover them on the channel. That's kind of the point. So now that we've got that all done, what do we think about Storm Emeralda? It's got to be a Rayquaza set. It's got to be a Rayquaza set. Emerald. I mean, that's your giveaway. Remember, there is only one Pokemon that graces the cover of Pokemon Emerald, and it's Rayquaza. It's your third version of the game. Who do we see on the front? Rayquaza. So, I mean, that alone is a bit of a giveaway. Plus, we've then got Storm, but Rayquaza's basically like the leader of Kyogre and Groudon, who are pretty, weather-related, and then Rayquaza comes in, Storm, come on! This makes too much sense, ladies and gentlemen. This makes too much sense. We've actually had a little bit of a run lately of Pokemon TCG sets being revealed, or at least getting trademarks, where we look at them and we're like, oh, I know what that is. I feel extremely confident that I actually do know what that is getting at. And we got another one coming in here. Obviously, Mega Symphonia and Mega Brave, by the time we saw them, we knew that we were getting Mega Gardevoir and Mega Lucario. So actually, by the time we saw those, we were like, well, yeah, that's blatantly Mega Gardevoir and Mega Symphonia and Mega Lucario in Mega Brave. That was kind of easy. All right, cool. Similarly, when we saw Black Bolt and White Flare, we went, well, hang on a second. There's almost no chance that's not a Gen 5 set. We'd heard rumors of a Gen 5 set. But then, Black Bolt, Zekrom, White Flare, Rayquaza, we looked at it and we were like, okay, yeah, that does actually make perfect sense. Glory of Team Rocket was blatantly a Team Rocket set. Battle partners would have been a bit more awkward, except for the fact that we obviously had the reveal at Worlds of these trainers' Pokemon, so that kind of made perfect sense. We've had a few in a row here where they actually did make perfect sense. Of course, there's absolutely every possibility that what happens in the not-too-distant future is we get a set, a trademark filed that makes absolutely no sense. No sense whatsoever. And the thing is, when that happens, it's going to be because of Legend ZA. Legend ZA is coming. And when Legend ZA gets here, it's almost certainly going to have some new Pokemon, maybe some new Mega. I'm not entirely sure, but certainly there's going to be some new something Pokemon related. Just like we had those new forms and evolutions in Legends Arceus. But we're not going to know about them initially. So it may well be that there's some new Mega Pokemon that gets its own set, and we see a trademark, and we don't know what it means, and then we play ZA in October, and we're like, oh! Okay, that makes perfect sense. For now, this one's going to be a Rayquaza set. And it makes sense for a couple of reasons. Firstly, Rayquaza. Rayquaza gets sets. Rayquaza is often seen as one of the key Pokemon in TCG sets. You know, back in the Scarlet and Violet era, we had Evolving Skies. And the evolving part of that was obviously the EVs, but the Skies part of that was very much Rayquaza. Evolving Skies was an EV set, and we think about it as an EV set. It was also a Rayquaza set because of the Japanese set Blue Sky Stream. Essentially, the Rayquaza set was the main set, and then we had the mini set, which was, of course, the EV set, and we mashed them together, and that made Evolving Skies. And that was very much a Rayquaza set, and over in Evolving Skies, we had stuff like Rayquaza V Max, and you add that all together, and you're like, oh, okay, fine, that actually makes perfect sense. We get this, we're happy with this. And then if you want to go back a little bit further out of Scarlet and Violet, we can go into Sword and Shield, and we end up with Celestial Storm, which was that generation, that blocks Rayquaza set. Because we have Rayquaza in one of the artworks, and Rayquaza GX, obviously one of the key Pokemon that we see there, and that all made perfect sense. We went, alright then, cool. Rayquaza is a Pokemon that generally does get its own set. Rayquaza is not a Pokemon that's generally kind of like slipped in when nobody's looking. Rayquaza tends to actually get a whole lot of love. I'll give you one more. We can go back a little bit further to a particularly good Rayquaza. The last time we got Mega Rayquaza, and that was, of course, back in Roaring Skies. That was your X and Y, your Gen 6 Rayquaza set. And yes, we had Rayquaza artwork, or Mega Rayquaza artwork, on the booster pack. And yes, we had Mega Rayquaza and a whole bunch of support for it. And actually, it's worth noting that Mega Rayquaza was busted good. Like, ridiculous, over-the-top, crazy good. And my point is, Rayquaza gets a set. But oh look, I just happen to have stopped here looking at Mega Rayquaza. Because, let's be perfectly clear here, this is going to be a Mega Rayquaza set. We're not going to be talking about a regular Rayquaza set here. We are talking about a Mega Rayquaza set. Because we're in the Mega block. You know, we just saw that yesterday the new English set is going to be called, and no, I don't think it's the most imaginative name ever, Mega Evolution. We know that's coming. We know that that's a thing. So, we're in the Mega block now. We're talking about Mega Pokemon. We've got Mega Gardevoir and Mega Lucario as opposed to children for that set. This is going to be a Mega Rayquaza set. And like I say, the last time we had a Mega Rayquaza was back in, well, okay, that's not strictly true. But the last time we really had a Mega Rayquaza was back in Roaring Skies. And we had a couple reprints after, but mostly in Roaring Skies. And it had, you know, Emerald Break, did 30 damage for each of your bench Pokemon. It had a whole bunch of support. And it was a phenomenal deck. Really fast, really hard hitting. You could go nuts from your first turn under the right circumstances with that deck. And I expect it to be good again. Let's not forget the other Mega Pokemon we're expecting is Mega Charizard. We've got that Inferno X trademark that's been floating around. And yeah, that kind of makes perfect sense there, doesn't it? Why would we not have our first Mega set, and then have a Mega Charizard set, and then have a Mega Rayquaza set? This is the kind of thing that Pokemon does. They're trying to hit us with big set after big set after big set. And I'm telling you, it seems to be working. Now, interestingly enough, we have actually seen a listing for Mega Expansion Pack Inferno X over on Play Asia. Now, I'm not giving this its own video because basically we made a video when the trademark was filed, and then we made a nice little update video when somebody on Twitter was being like, hey, here's what's coming. I don't think we need to do a third video before we get any more concrete information. We know that it's coming. We know it's going to be a Mega Charizard set. We've talked about this. This is really just a nice little update to be like, hey, remember that Mega Charizard set I told you about? Yeah, it definitely is coming, just to be clear. And it definitely is coming, just to be clear. But when I told you last time we hadn't seen a listing over on places like Play Asia, those listings are now starting to come through. So more proof if anyone needed that, yes, when we look at these trademarks, we generally are pretty good at figuring out what's important and what can be ignored. So there we go, that's what you need to know. There's a Mega Rayquaza set coming, and given how good the last Mega Rayquaza was, I think there is reason to be very, very excited. But I've told you all about this now, ladies and gentlemen, so now it's over to you guys. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section. Give me your hopes, your dreams, your predictions, and anything else. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shoutouts on the channel like the lovely Uncle Pokepeter, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and seems to be a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing is always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.